What's up, guys? It's Killboss23 in the house, and welcome back to another video. Today we're gonna be doing a top 4 worst killers in Dead by Daylight. Three things I want to start out is by saying that it's the last time I promised, but I have a new schedule. It's Monday, Thursday, and sometimes Friday. I confirmed in yesterday's video that I'm posting a video to this Friday. But next week I will let you know Monday's video if I'm going to be posting a video Friday or not. Alright, and the second thing I want to get off my chest is that the killers I'm going to be talking about in this video are still viable. They're still viable killers, but they're just not good killers. That's pretty much what I'm going to get into. But anyway, let's get started with the top 4, with the number 4 spot. At the number 4 spot we have the Legion. Now the Legion's power is called Feral Frenzy. When you activate the power, the Legion turns into a running machine, runs down the lane, and can injure multiple survivors in a short amount of time. And when they injure survivor, Killer Instincts triggers, and they can go and it shows the location of another survivor that's healthy and has not been hit yet. So pretty much what this power does is it helps the Legion get everyone injured, so the Legion can get downs, and inflicts them with a deep wound effect that if they don't mend a certain amount of time, they will be immediately put into the dying state. So yeah, the Legion is good at getting injuries. It is good at getting people injured, but it's very bad at getting people down. That's why I'm putting it on the top 4, but it's still pretty good. Her perks sometimes are some of the worst, except for the last one. First perk is Mad Grid. While carrying a survivor, you suffer no cooldown for missed basic attacks. A successful hitting another survivor with a basic attack will pause the carried survivor's wiggle timer for 3 seconds. This is a pretty bad perk because not a whole lot of survivors go in front of your face when you're carrying a survivor. Yeah, 3 seconds of pausing the survivor's wiggle time that you're carrying is okay, but you must never get use out of this, you know, in a regular match, unless it's just survivors that can just completely boost it. So it's a really bad perk. That's all I really have to say about it. Her second perk is Iron Maiden. You open lockers 40% faster. Now I don't know if this works with the Huntress's reloading speed. I don't think so, because as you know, she has to open lockers to reload her hatchets. So I don't know if this helps with that. Probably not, but at least someone might test it. Or maybe I don't know. Maybe it's already been tested. I don't know. Anyway, survivors who exit lockers suffer from the exposed status effect for 15 seconds, and their location is revealed for 4 seconds. So this is very good for like stealth killers such as Pig, Wraith, Ghostface, and Michael Myers, as they can pretend that they're not there, and then when the baby Dwight comes out the locker, they can get a free down. And this also stops people in general from going in lockers once they know that you have this perk, because they don't want to be exposed for 50 seconds. Even though it's a short amount of time, you know, if you're right there, it's still going to be scary. Pretty decent perk. Number 3 is the best perk Legion has. It's called Discordance. Anytime 2 survivors or more will work on the same generator, the generator's orb is highlighted in the yellow for 12 seconds. This can help with the early game with fighting generators, since survivors spawn close to each other pretty much, so they tend to work on the same gen, and it helps during early game and late game and mid game. Such a good perk. Onto her add-ons that help her out. Enrich Ruler, just pretty much it makes it so where you can use your power more often. This stab wound study makes it to where its survivors inflicted with a deep wound status effect can be brought into the dying state much quicker. Incandescent button, pretty much during your Feral Frenzy, your terror radius affects the entire map, and any pallets you vault over using Feral Frenzy are immediately broken. Fuming Mixtape, which is the best incandescent add-on she has. While using Feral Frenzy, the progress of generators can be determined by the intensity of the auras, so you can pretty much get there with pop and just destroy that gen by using your Feral Frenzy. All things are just add-on. It's pretty nice. Anyway, that was Legion. On to the number 3. At number 3 we have Wraith. And Wraith is one of the stealth killers I'm talking about, one of the weaker stealth killers, not as weak as Pig, a little bit more better. And I was actually trying to think if I should put Trapper here instead of Wraith, but I feel like Trapper is better. Trapper's power is called the Wailing Bell. You press and hold the power button to cloak. Once you cloaked, you are not completely invisible, as you can still have a little, you still show a little blurry like outline of a figure, which good survivors can react to, and they can run before you go, which is, you know, that's also a downside of his power. And plus people can blind you as you come out of your power, which stuns you. I mean, not blind you, they can burn you out of your power, which is very bad. So yeah, like I said, he's definitely one of the weaker stealth killers, but he's pretty good. His perks are Predator. Your acute tracking ability allows you to hone in disturbances left by running survivors. Scratch marks left by survivors respond considerably closer together. So this is good for beginner killers, but not very useless for good. I should say very useless. It can be useful sometimes, but it's pretty bad for like advanced killers, as they're more familiar with scratch marks. So that's pretty much all I have to say about that perk. Next teachable perk is Bloodhound. Like a hunting scent hound, you smell traces of blood at a great distance. Fresh blood marks is considerably more describable than normal, and can be tracked for 3 seconds longer than normal. Pretty much the redness of the blood puddle that the survivors leave behind is amplified, and it is more bright red than it usually is, and they last for 3 seconds longer than normal. This is very good, as tracking by blood is, in my opinion, is more of a better way of tracking injured survivors than by scratch marks, and also by sound, you know. So yeah, pretty decent perk. Last perk is Shadowborn. You have a keen vision in the darkness of the night. Your field of view is 9 degrees wider than normal. Does not stack with other FOV increases. This is pretty good. You can just be able to see around you and see in front of you wider, more clear. It's pretty good. This is good on certain maps. And there's really nothing said about this perk. It's pretty good, but it's not. It's pretty bad. Kind of just, it's more better perks you can run, to be honest with you. Some of his add-ons, just as Windstorm. You can get him on the map faster. I forgot to mention that you already move faster when you're cloaked than if you're uncloaked, but Windstorm just makes you move even more faster when you're cloaked. Also add-ons such as Cox Combed Clapper, which renders the Wailing Bell completely silent, so survivors cannot hear it. Bone Clapper also does a similar thing to this, except it muffles it. It doesn't actually completely cut the sound off. So yeah, that's why I put not Trapper. That's why I put the Wraith in number 3. On to number 2. On to number 2, I put the Trapper. The Trapper's power is pretty simplistic. It's just you place bear traps at loops and stuff. You can catch survivors off guard. Once the Trapper is caught by the bear trap, they would have a prompt that comes up to make it so if they want, they can escape the bear trap, and if they do, they get no special thing about, you know, they get no special thing from escaping. They just be able to get distance from you before you come. If not, then you can just hit them, and you can or pick them up, and you can just hook them from there. And you start with 1 bear trap by default too, so it's not that good. His personal perks, his teachables, are Brutal Strength. Your great strength allows you to shred through your prey's defenses, destroy rough pallets, breakable walls, and generate 20% faster. Now, you do feel the effects of this perk when you are running this perk, so that means it's not completely useless, because if you didn't feel the effects, then that means it becomes completely useless. You do feel the effects. It is a little bit more faster. It lets you get better distance in survivors if they drop a pallet or something like a breakable wall, or unless you get around the map faster, because you can break generators and it can make you apply that pressure even more faster. His second teachable perk is Agitation. You get excited in anticipation of hooking your prey, increasing movement speed while transporting bodies by 6%. While transporting a body, your terror radius is increased by 12 meters. This is very good to get a survivor that you have on a hook that you want, and since it also increases your terror radius by 12 meters, it also freaks some people out. Some people won't know that you are running this perk, so they'll try to go for like a flash save or trying to juke you out. So you know you swing where you miss, and then you end up hitting them, and they're like, whoa. So if they're on comm, they can tell the other survivors, oh, don't do this, and so you get, you get some information there. So it's a decent perk. An unnerving presence. Your presence alone instills great fear. Survivors within your terror radius have a 10% greater chance of triggering skill checks when repairing, healing, or sabotaging. Triggered skill checks zones are reduced by 60%. This is good for newer players that have trouble hitting skill checks, but this is kind of useless for experienced survivors that don't really have that much trouble hitting skill checks. Yes, good survivors miss skill checks once in a while, but they don't, miss them all the time like a new survivor can. So this is pretty useless for good survivors, but pretty good for like new survivors. So on some of his add-ons, his bag add-ons are obviously the best add-ons he has. For example, Stitch Bag, start with 2 extra bear traps, allows the transportation of 2 extra bear traps, which is good. Stuff like Tar Battle, which you can darken the bear trap, which is good on maps that have a lot of grass or has just dark grounds. And his best add-on, in my opinion, other than Stitch Bag, is Intercepted Stone. Every 30 seconds, 1 closed bear trap chosen at random becomes set. So a bear trap that's not been picked up yet, or it's been disarmed, it can randomly be set. So you can just set bear traps wherever you want, and even if they get disarmed, you don't have to worry about them because they might get reset again. So it's a very good. And that's why I put Trapper at number 2 onto number 1. You probably know what number 1 is, but let's see if you were correct. And if you said Clown, you were correct. The worst killer in Dead by Daylight, in my opinion, is the Clown, and pretty much a lot of people will agree with me though. His power is called the Afterbeast Tonic. When he throws his Afterbeast Tonic at a survivor, vision goes blurry, they go slower, and they scream. This helps him out at loops. It just helps to confuse the survivors and where he's at. That's pretty much all it is. Yeah, he's got one of the weakest powers in the game. That's pretty much all it is, to be honest with you. His perks are Claustrophobia. Your presence alone instills great fear. Survivors within your terror radius have a 50% penalty of healing progress speed. Tie this in with Sloppy Butcher and Thanophobia, and you got yourself like no healing build right there. Second perk is Bamboozled. Your vault speed is 50% faster. Performing a vault action calls upon an entity to block that vault location for 16 seconds. Only one window at a time can be blocked. The vault location is blocked only for survivors and does not affect pallets, so you can't block pallets with this perk. And this perk throws survivors off guard so good, and is a very good perk if you just want to fool around and just troll survivors. It works at like something like the shack. You can vault the window when the survivor vaults it, and then the survivor does not know you have it and is forced to drop the pallet or forced to take a hit and run into another loop area. And his best perk, and probably one of the best perks in the game, Pop Goes the Weasel. A deep bond with the entity unlocks a great strength. After hooking survivor, the next generator you break is instantly regressed by 25% faster or 50% faster if you get this up to tier 3 of its total progress. Normal generator regression applies after the damage is done. Pop Goes the Weasel is activated for 40 seconds after the survivor is hooked. So once you hook a survivor, you only have 40 seconds to apply the decrease to the gen. This is a very good perk in a lot of meta builds and is used by a lot of people. When it comes to add-ons, probably his best add-on here is Red Head's Pinky Finger. If you're good at aiming, survivors hit with directly hit by the bottle of Afterbeast Tonic are suffered from the exposed status effect, so it's pretty much instant down. This turns them from an F tier killer to a tier above. Very good. And you have something like Tattoo's Middle Finger, which shows the auras of intoxicated survivors for 6 seconds. That is good at like loops to anticipating where survivors go. Or you have add-ons like Cheap Gin Bottle, start with 2 extra bottles of Afterbeast Tonic and increases the maximum carried bottles amount by 2. Or you have like Stalling Feather, which you can throw them faster. thick cork stopper, you can reload faster, or Garnish makeup kit, which moderately expands the afterpiece tonic gas area, so makes it larger so people can get affected more, and the afterpiece tonic gas duration lasts longer, so it lasts longer. So the gas duration lasts longer. So yeah, that's pretty much all his perks, and that's all the stuff, and he came in the number 1 as the worst killer in Dabbadelic. So I hope you guys liked that video, the top 4 worst killers in my opinion. Remember, my new schedule is Monday, Thursday, and sometimes Friday. I'm posting a video this Friday, so don't forget to check it out. And don't forget to click on the description, click the like button, show them who is boss, especially for 23. And adios.